Hello teachers, here we are with the second part of the CBEST practice test, and remember this is only for the mathematics portion of it. So we're gonna do 11 to 20 in here, and the first one says, at a college approximately 2 out of 5 seniors go on to attend graduate school. If there are 750 seniors at the college, how many would be expected to attend graduate school? So 2 out of 5, 2 out of 5. This is out of every 5. This will be the total. 2 go on to attend, okay? 2, or those that attend. So the other part that they said, if there are 750 seniors at the college, so that's a total right there. So this is the number that they're giving us, the total of that college. So how many would be expected to attend, which would be X, is represented by X. So in here, the most appropriate would be to use proportions. Again, if you want to do the ones that we did before, where you find 5 times what number equals 750, and it is possible. Actually, I can see it here. And then you just multiply 2 times that same number to get the value of X. Or you can just do the cross multiplication. So it's going to be 2 times 750. Again, it doesn't matter which one you multiply first. 2 times 750 is equals to 5 times X. And so 2 times 750, 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10, carry 1. 2 times 7 is 14, and 1 is 15, equals 5X. Divide both sides by 5. And so the value of X is equals to, the 5 goes into 15 3 times. The 5 goes into 0, 0. 5 into 0, 0. So it's going to be 300. So out of those 750 seniors, 300 will attend graduate school. Okay, so it's going to be letter E. Okay, the next one says, the Mills Library has 1,007,199 books. The Springvale Library has 907,082 books. Which of the following is the best estimate of how many more books the Mills Library has than the Springvale Library? So basically, this is going to be estimation. And so this is very close to, if you notice, closer to 1 million, okay? 1 million. Oops, I'm missing 1 0 in here. Because this is a lot less than the next million. The 907,082 books can be rounded to 900,000 books. We subtract that and we get 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, you put the comma, so it's 100,000 books. You can also just subtract the total to see how it is or how it looks. Subtract the 907,082 and subtract 9 minus 2 is 7, 9 minus 8 is 1, 1 minus 0 is 1, 7 minus 7 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So if you notice, it's very close to the estimation that we had here, which is 100,000 books, okay? So that's the one that makes most sense, which is letter A. Number 13, which of the following is the best estimate for 4,286 times 390. So this is very close to 4,000. You can round it to 4,000. And then in here, this is close to, is it closer to 300 or is it closer to 400? Well, the 390, the 90 makes it closer to 400. So you're going to put 400. And then whenever you have zeros, you can just count how many and just add it at the end and just multiply the rest. So in this case, it's 4 times 4 is 16. Count how many zeros you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all together for both. And so it's going to be 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If you don't know, you can just put the commas at the end. So it's 1,600,000. Okay, 1,600,000, which is letter B. Okay, number 14, it says, the lowest point on Earth is the bottom of Mariana Trench at a depth of 35,840 feet below sea level. Below. Whenever you see below, that means negative. The highest point on Earth is the summit of Mount Everest at a height of 29,028 feet. So that's positive, and that's above sea level. Which of the following is the best estimate of the distance between the lowest and the highest points on Earth? So there are two things in here. You're adding positives and negatives, but also, or you're putting together positives and negatives. So think of a mountain, Mount Everest, and then you have the sea level, and maybe there's a point right here where it's negative 35,840. Okay, that's this point. You don't have the sea level because it's on the other side, but it's below. And then the highest point, notice that this is not proportionate. The highest point is 29,028 feet above sea level. Okay, so you're dealing with a positive and a negative number. And so which of the following is the best estimate of the distance between the lowest and highest? Whenever you have a difference between, you have to subtract, okay? So what you're gonna do is round it. So this is closer to 29,000, and it's positive. And you're going to subtract, I didn't leave enough space. You're going to subtract, let me write it in here. I'm gonna do with another color. So 29,000 minus, remember that if you're comparing two distances, you have to put minus, but then you're subtracting a negative. This is negative, so negative 35. This 840 makes it closer to 36,000. Now, the other thing that we have to remember is that if we're subtracting a negative, or negative times negative becomes positive, okay? I call it, if you have a negative and another negative, I call it the big plus. So big, big, big that it covers the two negatives and you don't have any of the two negatives anymore. So now you're going to add the two numbers because now you don't have any negatives. And then, so let me put it somewhere in here. Use all my space possible. Add that together. And so 0, 0, 0, 5, carry 1, 6. So it's 65,000. Again, it makes sense because you're putting together this distance, even if it's negative, it's a distance together with this distance, and that gives us the total distance of both, okay? The space above sea level and the space below sea level for the other. That's letter D, okay? Okay, number 15. Kim is in the 10th grade and takes a standardized science test. Use these test scores below to answer the question that follows. Again, just make sure that you go or learn about the different, which is raw score, percentile, stat 9, grade equivalent. And so the raw score is just how many questions you have correct, okay? You don't know out of how many, okay? You don't know the total number of questions in that test. So with the raw score alone, you are not able to find a percent, okay? Percentile is you're doing or scoring as well or better than 88%, or you're doing scoring worse than 12% of the test takers, okay? Stanine, it's basically a measurement. A 1, a 2, and a 3 are below average. 4, 5, and 6, you are average. And 7, 8, 9, stat 9, you're doing above average, okay? And finally, grade equivalent is just your grade level. So that's basically how you're fitting into the grade level, if you're at grade level or not. Kim's test scores indicate that, and we're gonna go over each one of these ones. So it says, Kim's test scores indicate that he scored as well as or better than 72 of the test takers. No, that's related to percentiles, not the raw score, okay? Percentile, that's say he scored as well or as better as the 88%. So no, not 72. That's just telling me that 72 of the answers were correct. We don't know out of how many. Letter B says 28% of the test takers score better than he did. 28, I think what they did here is that they subtracted 72 from the 100 and got 28%. Again, that's related to percentile. So no, that's not it either. He would perform adequately in a 12th grade science class. That doesn't tell me in reality if somebody performs well or badly or poorly on a test. Doesn't tell me how he's gonna perform in the class. Okay, in the class is they grade other things, not only how much he knows. Tests usually tell me how much a student knows, but not how he's gonna do in relation to doing the work, turning in homework, being present, etc. So not necessarily. He scored as well as or better than 88% of the test takers. Again, when you're comparing to the rest of the test takers, that's percentile, and yes, that's 88%, so that's the right answer. E says he answered 72% of the questions correctly. He's responded 72 answers correctly, but not percent, okay? So this doesn't have to do with percent. We don't know out of how many or how many questions there were total, so we cannot find the percent, so not E. Okay, number 16. The expression negative 105 plus negative 14 plus 34 simplifies to which of the following? So the easier way to do it is to add the negatives with the negatives and then subtract the positives and negatives, okay? So whenever you have two negatives, you add them together and they stay with the sign negative, okay? So add them together because you're putting two depths together. That's 9, 1, 1. So this is negative because it's two depths. Now we have, or let's say that you owe that much, this is positive, so you're paying. So you're gonna subtract 119, knowing that that's negative, minus the 34 because that's you're subtracting to that debt. 9 minus 4 is 5. 11 minus 3 is 8. Now which one is bigger, the 34 or the 119? Remember that in signs, you keep the sign of the greater one, which is negative. Okay, so it's going to be negative 85. Number 17, use the information below to answer the question that follows. Monday, 7 degrees Celsius. Tuesday, 12 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, 4 degrees Celsius. Thursday, negative 13 or 13 degrees Celsius on below zero. Friday, 15 degrees Celsius below zero. Remember that negative, it's below zero. It says, as part of a unit on weather, students recorded the outdoor temperature. So at 8:30 a.m. for 5 mornings. Those are the ones that we just read. What was the difference between the week's highest and lowest morning temperatures? So the highest is the biggest number in the positive, so that will be the temperature for Tuesday. The lowest will be the farther away from 0, which it will be -15. Again, whenever they say the difference, you have to subtract, okay? So you're gonna get the biggest, which is 12, minus, you put between parentheses the smallest, which is -15. And remember that when you have two negatives, again, negative and negative makes the big plus, but only if they're next to each other. Because if you have a negative here and a negative here, then you can't go over the 12, okay, the big plus. Now you don't have any negatives, and so 12 plus 15 is just plus 15 is going to be 7, 2, so 27 degrees. Letter E. Very close, almost there. Okay, number 18. A teacher has 3 packages of stickers. One package contains 56 stickers, another package contains 48 stickers, and the third package contains 58 stickers. If the teacher divides all the stickers equally among 27 students, how many stickers will each student receive? So the first thing that you have to do is add the 3 numbers of stickers that you have. So it's going to be 56, 48, and 58, whoops, plus 8 and 8 is 16, 22, carry the 2, 2 and 5 is 7, 11, 16, so it's 162. Careful, because that's right there. So if you don't read the information carefully, you might get the wrong answer and answer that. But it says, then she divides, right? The teacher divides the stickers among 27 students. So it's going to be 162 divided by 27. So how many times of the 27 go into 162? How can I figure this out? If you notice, this is very close to 30. How many 30s go into 162? So it can be 5 or 6, right? So it's 5 times 27, and you can also do 6 times 27. So 5 times 7 is 35, carry 3. 2 times 5 is 10. 13. The other one is 6 times 7 is 42, carry 4. 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 is 16. If you notice, it's exactly 162, so it's going to be 6. 6 times 27 is 162. We already did the math over there. So it's going to be 6 stickers. So look at the big difference between 6 and 162. So it's letter A, okay? Okay, so for number 19, it says, what is the 10th digit in the dividend of the problem below? So basically, they are giving us the divisor. In the dividend, they're missing a number, but they give us the answer and a remainder. So let's write that down so that we can work with it better. We know that the answer is 5 and a remainder of 23. So that means that whenever I subtracted 100 something 8, right, something 8, and I subtracted 5 times whatever is in here, I end up with 23. So let's do that part right here. 5 times 5 is 25, carry 2. 5 times 2 is 10, and 2 is 12. So now that gives us more information to be able to work and figure out what this number is. So one of the things that you can do is now just add these 2, you get 8, add these 2, you get 4, and just bring that in there. The other way to say is like, okay, when I multiply this, 8 minus 5 is 3. What number minus 2 is 2? Oh, it's 4. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, so that's why you don't have that in there. So basically, the number that is missing in here is 4, which is letter C. Okay, number 20 is the last one for this section. Last week, Mario walked 7 3/4 miles. This week, he walked 15 5/6 miles. What is the difference between the distance he walked this week and the distance he walked last week? So they're asking us again to subtract. Remember that whenever they say the difference between the distances or between two values, it's always subtraction, okay? Difference means subtraction. So we're gonna write 15 5/6 minus 7 3/4. And now what we need to do before we can even subtract is to make it into a common denominator, because for addition and subtraction, we need to have common denominators. I noticed that in here, I can multiply to make a 6 into a 12, and also the 4 can become a 12. The 6 you multiply by 2, but if you multiply the denominator, you also multiply the numerator. In here, for the 4 to become 12, you need to multiply times 3. So if you multiply 3 times 4 is 12, but again, you also have to do it to the numerator, okay? So whatever you use for this one, you use the same in the numerator. So what are the new values? The 15 is gonna stay the same. Now in here is 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12. And minus the 7 stays the same. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. Now I have common denominators. Whenever I have that, all I have to do is just subtract the numerators, but the denominator stays the same because they are common. They're the same denominator, okay? So 10 minus 9 is 1. 15 minus 7 is 8. And in here you have 8 1/12 miles, which is letter B. Okay, again, it's 8 1/12. First, you have to write it into a common denominator. Okay, that's it for this section. Remember that if you would like to have more practice with the CBEST or any other math help, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share with other teachers, and I hope you pass the test. Bye-bye.